Alright, we used Serpburn, the deck here that I'm going to start talking about and show. We used this one against Pyrosync, and Serpenteze burn, it sounds really cool, it looks cool. It was just hard to compete against Pyrosync. As cool as this deck was, we just couldn't get it to work against Pyrosync. Maybe we should try more games, but it really seemed like Pyrosync was way better than Serpburn for us. So this is who Serpburn has. Serpentines from Pyrus Serpentines. Comes with a Flaming Fist and a Green Fist. 600B, 1 damage. Damage is low. 600B is not terrible. But, you know, it's not one of the stronger Bakugan. He won't get up to any high numbers. He doesn't have a magic shield. Nobody in this team has a magic shield, so he's got a special mechanic coming up. We'll talk about that. Cycloid, Darkest Cycloid, he's got a cool thing where if he lands on a Flaming Fist, he gets an extra 600. So 200 plus the 200 from the Flaming Fist is 400, plus the 600 additional gets him up to 1,000, and then Shadow Strike. So his B and his damage can't be reduced if he picks up a Flaming Fist. And we actually were able to double core one time with Cycloid. So we did that when we picked up 2 fists, so that was awesome. That was a huge score. What was that? That was 1,200. It was 1,600 that he got up to when he double cored on the Flaming Fists. And then Hyderus from Armored Elite, Aquos Hyderus. We talked about him before, but he's a staple, one of the best guys out there. Okay, so I'm going to push these guys aside and go through the Serpburn deck. First off, 3 copies of Quickfire from the Resurgence wave set. This is a Pyrus card. Make a Pyrus attack for 1 and you reroll. So 0 cost reroll card. And then what it means to make a Pyrus attack for 1 is your opponent just has to discard a card from his deck. Next we had Baku Treasure. 0 energy to draw 1. This deck had a lot of drawing cards in them. Drawing additional cards. Aquos is strong for that. Deep Dive was another reroll card and a draw card. So for 1 energy, you draw and reroll. And then, of course, Super Fuel, because one of the best cards in the game, my proxies here. 1 energy, you can re-roll. You must re-roll, and then if you open on the re-roll, you get to play the next card this turn for free, which was huge for us, again, to try to set up Evo cards and plays. Then we had 2 copies of Pyrus Sifting Ashes. 1 energy, you draw 2 cards, and then you discard 2 cards. So again, you're just trying to draw the cards that you know you want to get the Serpburn going. And for us, or for the deck, that's getting Serpentine's Ultras, or Serpentine's Evo, my goodness. Alright, then we had 3 copies of Dark Fortune. It's a Darkest card where you get to, for 3 energy, search your deck for an Evo card, reveal it, and put it into your hand. Then you shuffle your deck. So this card was played as quick as possible to try to get that Serpentine's Evo card into our hand. Hopefully you could use a Super Fuel to roll your Bakugan and then play Serpentine's Evo for 3 less energy. So that was kind of the combo there. Use Dark Fortune, get the Evo in your hand, and then Super Fuel into playing him for 3 less energy. We had 2 copies of Song of Fire, 3 energy for 5 floating energy. So it's a card that gives you 2 energy for free. We had, for stops in this deck, 3 copies of Obscuring Evade. So for 0 energy, you're stopping Aquos and Darkest. And then 3 copies of, I'll put my real one on top, the proxies at the bottom. But 3 copies of Pact of Darkness. So for 4 energy, you're stopping non-Darkest, but you get to play it for free if you discard a card. So these 6 cards, these 2 cards, 3 copies each, these 2 flips will stop all damage. They'll cover your deck from all the other factions in the game. Aquos, Darkest, and non-Aquos Darkest. Then we had 3 copies of Aquos Hero Shun Kazami. When you open a Bakugan, you draw a card. So again, drawing power. We had 2 copies of Dan Kuzo. 4 energy, when you open a Bakugan, reveal the top card of your deck. If it's not a flip card, you may play it for free. So, maybe the best card in the game. Hard to get. I have 1 copy, so the rest are all proxies, just so we can play. We had 3 copies of Tempest Generator. It's a Bakugan card for 2 energy. You play that, you get to re-roll your Bakugan, and it comes with 100B and 1 damage. And then this card, Aquatomic Payload, another Aquos Gear card. 2 energy, 100B, 1 damage, but when you play it, you draw a card. So it's another draw card. And then I should have, right here, 3 copies of Hyper Serpentines, but I don't. I only have 2. So I had a proxy. I'll need to make another proxy to have 3, but this deck calls for 3 Hyper Serpentines. So his Evo is 5 energy, and I'll put the original up here so you can see. His Evo is 5 energy. To get to 1000 B and 1 damage, he goes from 600 to 1000 for that 5 energy. But his special thing is when he opens, if he's holding a Fire Fist, Flaming Fist, make a Pyrus attack for 5. So every time he opens, you automatically have your opponent discard 5 cards from their deck. And the point is just to use him and get your opponent to burn through cards in their deck. Even if you're not winning the battle, you're still doing damage every time he opens. So let's just say he loses every time. You're opening him, you're making your opponent discard cards, and then you're closing him back up again because he lost. And hopefully your stops will mitigate the damage until your Serpentines can just burn through your opponent's deck before you do. So pretty cool setup there. Like I said, we couldn't get this one to work as well as Pyrosync, meaning I kind of think Pyrosync is a lot better than this deck, but a lot of fun to play with.